Hey guys, so we are going to be talking about highlighters today. I have 4 new ones and I thought, why don't I just kind of combine them all and make this video. So I'm going to be swatching all of them. I have comparison swatches for all of them, and then I'm going to be putting them all on my face. There's 4, so I'm going to put as, it's just, we've done this before, so you know the drill. Anyway, I also wanted to address that yes, your eyes don't deceive you. I have different eyeshadow on my eyelids. I basically just filmed a video for the new Surratt hologram eyeshadows. I have 4 different colors on my eyes, 2 on each. They are amazing. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Let's go ahead and get into these highlighters. So let me tell you which 4 we're going to be talking about. I'm sure you figured it out from either the thumbnail or the title, but we've got the Natasha Denona Glow Gold. We have the new Charlotte Tilbury Magic Star Highlighter. We also have the Bobbi Brown Luxe Illuminating Powder in Golden Hour. I saw this at Sephora. I think it's a Sephora exclusive, but I saw it while I was in store and I was very impressed. You'll see. And then I have the La Mer The Glow highlighter, and this is that duo cream and powder highlight. So we're going to play with all of these, but I want to start with the Charlotte Tilbury. I am very excited for this one. I'm also the most curious about this one because I think the tone, it may be a little bit too deep for my skin tone, but we're going to go ahead and investigate together. So this is what the packaging looks like. Isn't that stunning? I just love what she did with the holiday packaging this year. This is very similar to the Instant Look in a palette, and it's a really nice size, compact. And then inside we have the mirror and we have the beautiful starburst design on the powder. And this is of that baked gelée variety, and it's so beautiful. I've swatched this, I've played around with this, but there's like no powder kick up. It's so smooth. Here's a swatch of this highlight. So you can see how golden and how warm it is. And that's why I'm a little bit worried. It may be a little bit too deep for my skin tone. But I also want to show you some comparison swatches while we're here. So I have this Magic Star highlighter swatched all the way on the left. And then right next to it, I have the highlighter from the Lightgasm palette. And then next to that, I have the highlighter from the Lovegasm palette. And then I have it swatched next to the original Bar of Gold highlight. And then finally, I have it swatched next to the warmest shade in this Bar of Gold palette. All right, so I have no highlighter on my face. I just have a little bit of blush. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply this Magic Star highlighter. I am going to use a relatively stiff brush because of this baked gelée formula. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to pick up the product. So I'm going to go in with Sonia G's Worker Fan brush, and I'm just going to sweep that across, pick up a little bit of the product there, and I'm just going to apply this to my cheeks here. Ooh, it's very, very golden. I feel like actually on my skin it looks a little bit icier than it did look swatched. I'm just going to take a brush and kind of buff that out a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. Now that I feel like I've buffed it in a little bit, that is very pretty. Ooh, I'm so excited. I thought it was going to be too dark, but I think actually it's going to work out really nicely. Well, all right. Before we move on to the next one, let me just go ahead and hold up the box here so you can see the formula there has mica as the first ingredient, just so you're aware. And I also wanted to mention that I ordered this off of the Charlotte Tilbury site because I think it is an exclusive to her site. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else. So I just wanted to mention that also. But let's go ahead and move on to the La Mer, the Glow highlighter. And before I forget, let me just hold up this box so you can see the ingredients. Please feel free to freeze the video. And I hope you guys can see it. I'll zoom in, but this lettering is always really tiny. And then here is the compact. It looks just like the pressed powder, the bronzers. It has like a frosted plastic bottom. It has a new design for this one. It has like these light rays over the pink there, really pretty. And then here is the highlight. Isn't that fun? And it has this plastic lid that kind of flips over from one to the other, and it basically protects this cream side. So here's the cream and here is the powder. The powder, I will say, feels very creamy. It's almost like a cream to powder kind of formula, but it's incredibly, incredibly creamy. So here are some swatches of the two. And then here's some comparison swatches to the powder side. So I have the La Mer swatched first, all the way on the left-hand side. And then next to that, I have the Becca Parisian Lights. And then next to that, I have the Burberry Fresh Glow highlighter in rose gold. And then finally, I have the Rodin Luxury Illuminating Powder in Siren. And that was their limited edition highlighter from last summer. So no real dupes there, but it's very, very close to the Becca Parisian Lights. And if you missed that one, because I believe that one was limited edition and that is not available anymore, I'm not sure. Of course, I'll link everything down below, but I did find that those two were actually very, very similar. So what's interesting about this duo is I found the cream to be really cool and very, very icy. And then I found the powder side to be very warm and peachy. And I think they kind of like balance each other out if you use both. So I'm going to go ahead and demo that on, yeah, I did the Charlotte Tilbury on this side. So I'm going to use the La Mer on this side. And I'm going to just go in with my finger onto the cream side and just dab a little bit. I think, I hope you guys can see like how white that is. I don't think I would like to use this cream highlighter on its own. It's just very, very white. But I'm just gonna grab my Sonia G Classic Cheek Brush. I'm gonna go into the powder side. This powder side, it's so soft. You pick up so much product very, very quickly. So I'm going to be sure to knock off that excess. And I'm going to kind of tap this on because I have that cream base down. I don't wanna like move it around too much. And now I'm putting that powder over the cream. And now you get this like, really, I mean, look at that shine. It is incredible. But I feel like the iciness tones down like the super warm peachiness in here. And then this kind of warms up the really icy base. And you get this really beautiful kind of like champagne rose color. It is so, so pretty. It's very, very wet looking. Okay, next up, let's talk about this Bobbi Brown Luxe Illuminating Powder. First of all, let's talk about this packaging. It is beautiful. So this compact is just gorgeous. It has this really nice, like subtle design on the cover. The rest of it is like this shiny gold. And then the inside, we have this powder. And it's like one of those extremely creamy powders. And when I saw this in store and I kind of swatched the tester that they had there, it reminded me of something and I couldn't place it until I got home. But we'll get to that when we talk about the comparison swatches. But I was like elated. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the swatch of this. It just has such a lovely, lovely tone and sheen. And it's definitely one of those formulas where I feel like it's a little bit on the thicker side. So I think it looks a little bit more seamless and beautiful on the skin if you really buff it in. Okay, so here are the comparison swatches for the Bobbi Brown. I'm so excited to show this to you because I don't know if you guys remember, but I love this Gucci highlighter. It is in the color Sunstone and since been discontinued since they kind of like revamped their whole beauty line. So anyway, here are the comparison swatches. The Bobbi Brown's on the left and the one right next to it is of this Gucci Sunstone. And the color's, you know, a little bit off. I think the Sunstone is a little bit brighter, but it has the same kind of like soft powder feel. And I think that's what reminded me of it when I was swatching it in store. It was the way it felt. And it just has a very similar kind of formula. So that is the Gucci Sunstone right next to it. Next to that, we have the Becca Royal Glow. And then on the end, we have the Becca Champagne Pop. And in terms of like a shade dupe, again, I don't think any of them are exactly the same, but I do actually find it very, very similar to the Champagne Pop. So let's go ahead and apply it to my face. So I've got the Sonia G Sculpt 2 brush, and I'm just going to load a little bit on here. I think I have a little bit too much. Let me tap some of that off. And okay, so I have the Charlotte Tilbury here. I'm just gonna put it basically just on my cheek here. That's not a good place. That's just not a good place. I'm loading up my brush again. I'm actually going to brush it like over my eyebrow here. Oh, there we go. I think you guys can see it now. There's the highlight there. It's such a beautiful kind of like creamy tone. I've always been a big fan of the Becca Champagne Pop. I think that color is just, it's really stunning. It's just, and maybe because it was like one of the very first highlighters I ever purchased, so I kind of have this romantic notion about it, but I do feel like this shade is very, very reminiscent of that, but the formula is very similar to the Gucci, and it's just so, it's so pretty. I think it's really, really beautiful. So I think Bobbi Brown did such a good job with this. I think it's quite lovely, and the compact is beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And I do think it is a Sephora exclusive. So again, I will link everything down below, but I hope you guys get a good sense of this. It is very, very difficult capturing highlight with like lighting and everything, with studio lighting and photography and everything. So anyway, I hope you get a good sense of it there on my forehead, where I pretty much brushed it all over here. Okay, and last but not least, we have the Natasha Denona Glow Gold Shimmer Duo. So this is what the packaging looks like. Kind of typical Natasha Denona compact. It looks like her blush duos and other face products that she has. And then here it is on the inside. And then here are some swatches of the two powders, and I went from left to right. And then as for the comparison swatches, I have these two swatched, and then next to it, I compared it to the Natasha Denona Super Glow in 03 Bronze. So that's this shade here. So I really wasn't sure what I was going to be doing with these powders when I ordered it. I just thought it was pretty, and I really like gold, and I knew they were going to be too deep for my skin tone, but the more I played around with them, the more I realized that they're very, very sheer, and a lot of your natural skin tone or your skin tone underneath is going to shine through. So this one actually works pretty well for me. Let me go ahead and demonstrate that for you. Actually, I'm going to grab the Sonia G Sculpt 3 brush. This is more of a traditional fan brush. I'm going to go into the lighter shade over here, and this ends up giving you just kind of like a really glittery dusting of color. Like, it's definitely more yellow toned than all the other highlights I have on my skin right now. So it's definitely a look, you know, if you have my skin tone, it's definitely a look. I feel like these powders would look much, much more striking and beautiful on a deeper skin tone. On me, it's okay. And I'm not sure that I like the intense micro glitter that you see, because I feel like it accentuates a lot of texture, but that's the light color. And then let me go into the deeper color. Oh, where to put this? I'm just gonna put this over the Charlotte Tilbury over here, because this is such a different color. And it really is just kind of, it just leaves like a sheer veil of micro glitter. I think you guys can probably see all the like glitter that's on my face now. I'll also take some and just bring it down the center of my forehead, just to see if you guys can see like the very warm yellow gold tone to it. Yeah, there you can probably see it right there. So I think these powders are fun, but I don't think that they're ones that I'm going to grab for very often. One, because of the tone, it's a little bit of a statement, and two, the micro glitter effect is not my favorite. I think if you're into micro glitters, you're going to love this. Love it. You probably love all the Natasha Denona highlighters. But if I'm going to do micro glitter, for me, it's going to have to be like a really nice tonal match then. It can't really be both for me. It can't really be like a deep, bright yellow color on top of it being micro glittery. So that's the Natasha Denona Glow Gold, and I think the formula is really nice, and I think it's really fun, and I think it's a very interesting kind of highlighter. Just for me personally, I just don't know if it's one that I'm going to grab for very often. So those are all of the highlighters that I have for you. I really love all of them for like different reasons. I think the La Mer is such an interesting combo, and I think they work so well together. The Charlotte Tilbury was a surprise for me. So I thought this was going to be a little bit too deep, a little bit too warm for me, but it actually ended up looking a lot icier on the skin, and I thought it was really, really gorgeous. So big thumbs up for that as well. The Bobbi Brown, I am so loving this. I think it just gives you a really nice kind of creamy kind of highlight, and I love the texture of it. It's very, very soft. It almost feels velvety in the pan, and it's lovely. The shade of this highlighter is also probably like the safest, if you will, the safest out of all the ones that I tried today. It is the like best kind of like tonal match for my skin tone. So this is probably going to be more of like an everyday highlight for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if there are some highlighters that you've tried that I haven't talked about that you think I may like. Please let me know down below in the comments section. You guys know how much I love highlighters. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.